Let's now have a look on how to connect to the systems in Unicorn. In the system control window of the Unicorn control software, you can click on the Connect to Systems button. You now see the 3 ÄKTA Go systems available here, and by clicking on the boxes to select them, you can connect to all the 3 systems. You see that a system control window appears for each individual system, and you can interact and toggle between the systems by toggling through the different selectors up here. You can now see the chromatogram and process picture and all interactions as you normally see them in Unicorn. Creating of methods follows standard Unicorn protocols also for the ÄKTA Go parallel setup. So you go into the method editor, you click on the new method icon, you select a system of choice and click on a predefined method. You can use the Sativa prepared methods to quickly generate a method of choice by, for example, setting the column you want to use, the column position at which you want to apply it, and modify all your entries to your liking. When you are done with your creating your method, you are saving this method, and you will see that now you can give it a name, for example, affinity capture go number 1, and you save it to the system ÄKTA Go 1. If you have identical system setups, you can use the method you have been writing and save it as affinity capture ÄKTA Go 2, select the ÄKTA Go 2 system and save it to your Unicorn method folder. When your ÄKTA Go is, for example, equipped with a sample inlet, you can create a series of runs using different sample inlets. In order to do so, you go to the Unicorn scouting function and select the variables you want to change in the series of runs. In our case, we want to run the very same method over the system, but use different samples. So we select the sample inlet, and if we want to, the sample ID variable from our list. By confirming this, you see that you can give a free text name to your sample, and the first run will be taking the sample from the inlet S1. We can now insert a run and select sample inlet S2 for the second run. In the same way, we can now create a series of 5 runs where we will use all the 5 sample inlets of the ÄKTA Go system. Confirming with clicking OK and saving the method has now created a series of 5 runs, all identical but using different samples. You can also modify column positions in combination with sample inlets, like in every Unicorn scouting. If you want to be able to name your runs from the parallel systems in a good way, for example, using the sample ID, we recommend you to modify the start protocol by clicking on the start protocol list and enable the scouting page on this. You can also use free text questions and modify the start protocol as you have seen it before. So activating scouting and result name and location might be preferred for the parallel ÄKTA Go setup. You can also define how the result name and location is set by clicking on this icon. And here you can now select the sample ID if you want to. This will give you the possibility to give individual names when starting the methods every time you are running them. Once you have created the methods for all your 3 Go systems, either by writing one method and saving it for all the 3 systems in identical setups, or if you want to combine different ÄKTA Go's for your parallel approaches, you can combine also individual methods for these Go's. It's now time to combine them in the method queue. For this, you go onto the method queue icon to open the method queue dialog box. Here you want to include 3 systems, the first one being ÄKTA Go 1, the second system being ÄKTA Go 2, and the third system being ÄKTA Go 3. You can now add methods, and when you open your file, you see that automatically you only see the methods which are available for your system. So this is a very safe way that you are sure to find the right method for the system configuration of choice. So here we take the ÄKTA Go 1 method. For the ÄKTA Go 2, you see only the method we have been saved for ÄKTA Go 2 is available here. And for ÄKTA Go 3, we have also been adding this version. You can now decide if you want to start them all in parallel, which we want to do if we want to run parallel. If not, you can also modify the starting conditions for the methods. As you can see, you can also include more methods in the setup. So if you want to clean your ÄKTA Go, for example, afterwards, you can write cleaning methods and add them to the queue, and they will be worked on in a sequence. So when we click save, we will save this method queue as 3 ÄKTA Go parallel, and we are all set and done to start our method queue. To start your 3 ÄKTA Go systems in parallel, you go to the Unicorn system control. We have connected to the 3 systems for which we have written our method queue. So now we go to the method navigator and select our 3 ÄKTA Go parallel method queue. When we are clicking on this, we get asked if we want to start immediately or wait. Now let's start immediately. So by doing this, we are now seeing all the entries of the start protocol. And you remember that we wanted to select how we want to call our sample and our results. So you get the recommendations from the start protocol in the method, which you can also completely freely override. This is the start protocol for the ÄKTA Go 1. By pressing start, we will now see if you want to identify the column using the column logbooks. For simplicity, we do not do it in here. So this will start the ÄKTA Go 1 once we are done. Now we see the start protocol for ÄKTA Go 2. Here again, we can override the suggested entry from the method. We can start it. Again, we don't want to use column tracking here. And now the start protocol for ÄKTA Go 3 appears. Here again, we want to go with my sample 11, for example, and you can enter all the names in this start protocol. We start again, not using column tracking for this run, and by clicking OK now, you will see that all 3 ÄKTA Go systems will get started. So you see without any further interaction that the systems start.